Welcome to GDs. And this is The Last Kingdom Season 3. Season starts with a new Dane Lord Bloodhair heading towards Wessex. And he is doing so because his powerful seer Skade has seen King Uhtred fall. Meanwhile, in Winchester, we see King Uhtred's son Edward being trained by Steapa and educated by priests, as he is to be the next king of Wessex. But Ethelwold doesn't like it, as he wants to be the king. Hasting, who has pledged his loyalty towards the king and has accepted Christianity as his religion, informs King Uhtred about Bloodhair and getting to know his intention of raiding Wessex villages. King Uhtred agrees with Uhtred and decides to go against Bloodhair. He also sends word to Mercia for Ethelred to join him in the battle. King Uhtred, despite being weak, decides to ride to battle. Uhtred also leaves Kukum, leaving his pregnant wife Gisela to join King Uhtred for battle. Uhtred, on his way to the king, is able to capture Bloodhair's seer Skade, as she was left behind finishing up with the priest in a village after the attack. Skade, being captured by Uhtred, casts a curse on him. Uhtred joins up with the king at the castle, and they are at odds with each other again. As the king doesn't wish to attack, and want to wait for Bloodhair to attack, and Uhtred suggests that he will never attack, and will surround and starve them, or go to Winchester, which is not protected right now. But Bloodhair wants to free his seer, and kills villagers as a show of strength and to threaten the king, but Uhtred is able to stop him by threatening Skade. Getting to know the importance of Skade for Bloodhair, Uhtred comes up with a plan and wants to draw in Bloodhair, and surround him with the Mercian army on one side, and Wessex army on the other, by luring him with the help of Skade. The king agrees, and they're able to lure Bloodhair, surround him, and beat him in battle. But Bloodhair survives and retreats. As Uhtred returns home victorious, he finds that his wife passed away while giving birth to their child. Uhtred exhumes Gisela's body and gives her a proper send-off. Ethelwold knows that the king is weak and does not have much time. And in order to weaken him further, he plans to draw a rift between Uhtred and Uhtred, as he knows that Uhtred is the kingmaker. And for that he wants Goodwin to enrage him. Uhtred is called by the king, as he has disturbed the holy ground, where they laid his wife for rest. Uhtred apologizes, but the queen is not fond of him, and wants some kind of punishment. And Father Goodwin enrages him further, by disrespecting his dead wife. Uhtred in anger slaps him, but unfortunately, he dies. King Uhtred lets Uhtred know that there will be no trial. And he will be able to walk free, provided he pays the church 100 silver. And pledges his loyalty for his son Edward, as Uhtred knows the importance of Uhtred. But Uhtred, knowing that a pledge like this will be a pledge for his life, and he has already given so much to the king, asks the king not to push him for this. But the king lets him know that this is the only way. Uhtred, not willing to pledge his loyalty, takes the king hostage and make his escape from Winchester, and he rides towards the north to be with Ragnar. And on his way, Uhtred falls ill, and everyone thinks that all his misfortune is because of the curse casted by Skade. Uhtred was able to make it to Ragnar and Breda, and they were able to save him by restricting Skade's power. Uhtred cannot simply kill Skade, as if he does so, the curse will always remain with him. And Breda lets him know that she will find a way for him to get rid of the curse. Meanwhile, Ethelwold, successful in driving a wedge between Uhtred and Uhtred, now wants to weaken him further, and thus goes to Mercia, as he wants Ethelred to kill his wife, as this will push King Uhtred further to his demise, as he is already weak. In addition, he lets him know that he no longer will have Wessex over him, and he can truly be the king for Mercia. Ethelred, already despising his wife, and not believing their daughter to be his, asks his commander to arrange for his wife to be murdered. But, he being loyal to Mercia, and knowing the importance of the Lady of Mercia, warns her about King's intentions, and asks her to leave and hide. He also does not want her to go to Uhtred, as Mercia and Wessex both need each other right now, as Uhtred has left to be with Danes. Ethelfled, heading his warning, goes into hiding, and sends a letter to Father Baoka, so he could reach Uhtred and deliver a message for her. Meanwhile, Ethelwold meets up with Hasting and Bloodhair, and inform them that Uhtred is no longer with King Uhtred, and King Uhtred is already weak. So this is the appropriate time for them to attack Wessex, and they should join all the Dane army together. He also lets them know that he could further cause division within Wessex, and will help them win the war easily. Danes, thinking that this might work, visit Ragnar, and ask him to join against Wessex, and Uhtred lets them know that there won't be any great Dane army, as they will keep fighting among themselves. Unless they choose Ragnar to be their leader. They all agree, and they are also joined by Canute, a cousin warrior of Ragnar. And Brida lets Uhtred know that if he betrays Ragnar, she will kill him. Father Beoka also shows up at Dunham. And he lets Uhtred know that Lady Ethelfled is in danger, as her husband is after her, and she wants Uhtred to help her. But she doesn't want him to come because of an oath, and thus relieve him of that oath. And he is free to decide whatever he chooses. Uhtred, learning that it was Ethelwold who put the life of Ethelfled in danger, threatens and warns him. But he pushes back, and wants to know where his loyalties lie. And Uhtred lets Ragnar know that he won't be joining him against Wessex, and will be leaving for now. Ragnar, taking it as a betrayal, lets him know that he is no longer his brother, and in order to leave with Skade, he needs to fight to the death against Bloodhair, and Uhtred agrees. But before Uhtred could finish a Bloodhair, Ragnar stops the fight, as he doesn't want to lose a good fighting man, and lets Uhtred leave with Skade. Ethelwold, worried that Uhtred may return to Wessex, wants Ragnar to kill him. But Ragnar lets him know that he won't. In addition, he finds him to be responsible for getting between the brothers, and Ragnar takes out his anger on him. Hasting informs the king that Ragnar, along with Bloodhair, ride towards the north to attack Wessex. King Alfred writes to Ethelred and wants Mercian army to join them as they go to meet the Danish army. Hasting was able to track Ethelfled to a nunnery, and as he tries to get to her, he was stopped by Uhtred. But in order to get out of there, he offers to give up Skade, and Hasting leaves with her. But Skade lets Uhtred know that until he recovers her, the curse will carry on. On the other hand, Danes are also marching towards Wessex. And Canute, fancying Brida, and wanting to lead the army, conspires with Ethelwold, and makes him kill Ragnar in his sleep, thereby denying him Valhalla. Brida, getting to know this, is quite broken. And Canute lets her know that he wants to be with her. Brida goes to Uhtred, and lets him know about Ragnar's death, and wants him to help her send his soul to Valhalla. Uhtred, believing that it's the Skade's curse, because of which this misfortune has fallen on him, wants to get her back. And Ethelfled convinces him to seek King Alfred's help, by asking him for his man to attack Hasting. Uhtred informs the king that he could defeat Hasting if he gives him 1,000 of his men, and thereby reducing the Dane army, and this will give them a winning chance. But King Alfred refuses to help him, and lets him know that the only reason he is still alive is because he saved his daughter. Young Edward, listening to Uhtred's plan, and knowing that this might at least delay a battle, wants to help him out, and offers him 500 men, letting him know that he will be there when the time comes. Uhtred is able to lure Hasting and his army out of the castle, and on open ground. Though King Alfred refused at first, but Edward was able to pursue his case, and they are hiding in the jungle with their army. King Alfred holds off the attack, and Edward was forced to make the call to attack, in order to save Uhtred. And they were able to defeat Hasting. But he managed to escape with Skade. Hasting, with his remaining men, returns to the Dane camp, and lets them know that King Alfred is still alive, and Uhtred has joined him back. Danes delay their attack for now and send Ethelwold back to Wessex. And they want him to kill Uhtred, and arrange for them the Saxon army which he promised. On the other hand, Uhtred has taken a few of Hasting's men as prisoners, and he has an argument with one of his own men, Sihtric. And Sihtric frees the prisoners and goes with them to join the Dane camp. Uhtred goes to Ragnar's tomb to offer his prayers. It is when Uhtred tells Brida that he stayed with King Alfred, as it was the only way to save Ragnar. And Brida forgives him. Uhtred and Brida go to another powerful seer Story, and they want him to help them send Ragnar to Valhalla. Story tells them that in order to send Ragnar to Valhalla, they must kill the one who killed him, with a blade dipped in Ragnar's blood. Uhtred also wants to know a way to break a curse, but before Story could tell him anything, Brida strangles him. And she lets Uhtred know that the only way to break a curse is to kill the one who gave the curse, without dropping their blood or cutting their skin. Uhtred learns that Brida was cursed by Story when they were young and abducted him. And Brida lets him know that because of the curse, she wasn't able to carry a child in her. Brida goes back to the Dane camp. And Uhtred returns to Ethelfled's estate, though he wants to leave his men to guard Ethelfled. She lets him know that she will be safe on her estate. And he must do what needs to be done. And Uhtred leaves with his men to get Skade back from Hesting. At the Dane camp, Hesting and Bloodhair get into an argument, as both want Skade for themselves, and end up fighting to death for her. And Bloodhair loses, and Skade kills him. Back in Winchester, King Alfred and the Queen want Edward to settle with a suitable bride. But Edward lets them know that he is already in love, and has a son. But as the girl is not of royal blood and serves no purpose, the Queen forces her to go into a nunnery, and sends his boy away to be raised by monks. Knowing that his love has joined the nunnery, King Edward agrees to marry as per his parents' wishes. King Alfred and the Queen find out a suitable match. Daughter of a lord, having silver, as well as more than 1,000 men. And their wedding is finalized. Aethelwold also returned to Winchester, and he pleads to the king that he was in the Dane camp as a spy for him. In addition, he also pledges his loyalty for Edward. And King Alfred, instead of taking his nephew's life, chooses to punish him by taking one of his eye, as a reminder of his betrayal. Aethelwold continues to cause chaos by arousing one of the lords of Wessex, who also loved the girl with whom Edward had a kid with, and asks him how can he follow Edward. On the other hand, Uhtred has once again been able to come up with a plan and lure half of the Dane army out of the camp. And with Sihtric being his spy, he was able to get Skade away from them. Uhtred returns back to Cookham, where he finds that his kids were taken by King Alfred in order to punish him. And they have been baptized and are being raised by monks and nuns. Uhtred was able to break his curse as he kills Skade without drawing blood. And he asks Hild to help him meet his kids in Winchester. King Alfred's health is deteriorating, and he knows that Edward will need a warrior by his side if he needs to rule. And wants Father Beoka to counsel him accordingly, but the Queen is against his wishes, as she despises godless Uhtred. Alfred lets the Queen know that till the time he is alive Uhtred will remain an outlaw. But after he passes away, it will be Edward's decision, and she should also counsel him to have Uhtred by his side. Aethelwold, not wanting Edward to be sworn as the new king, and knowing that if Uhtred would take a pledge of loyalty to Edward, he will surely be a king, starts a rumor that Uhtred has sworn that he will take revenge from the king, and he will kill Edward. Uhtred also returns to Winchester, and goes to Father Beoka's house to get blood from Thyra, so that he could help Ragnar reach Valhalla. Aethelwold also shows up, and he wants to search Father Beoka's house, as he suspects him of hiding an outlaw Uhtred. But before things could escalate, Thyra allows them to search the house, as she has hidden Uhtred. Father Beoka wants Uhtred to have a word with the king, as he has very little time, and there are things unsaid between them. King Alfred also wants to meet Uhtred. And as the wedding of Edward proceeds, Father Beoka arranges for the meeting. And for the first time, Alfred talks his heart out. He lets Uhtred know that it is because of him he became a king, and remains a king. He thanked him for his bravery, loyalty, and courage. And he also feels sorry for not showing him enough respect for trusting him. He requests Uhtred to stay with Edward, at least till he is crowned a king, as there are many voices that will rise against him, and gives him a free will to decide on his own. King Alfred also signs a royal pardon for Uhtred. But things in Wessex are quite shaky because of King's deteriorating health. Thyra is also threatened, and Aethelwold continues to spread rumors. And as Uhtred promises Alfred that he will stay till Edward is crowned, Alfred passes away. The Queen doesn't want Edward to have anything to do with Danes, as she wants Edward to be the gods' king. Thus she tells Father Beoka that he is no longer needed in service because of his association with Uhtred. She also rescinds Uhtred's pardon, and she wants him to leave. But Uhtred doesn't leave, and thus he is imprisoned. In addition, Thyra is also attacked and burnt in her house. With the news of Alfred's death, the Danes start to head towards Wessex. Aethelwold tries to convince Ethelred not to fight with the Danes, and allow them to slaughter Edward and the men which will follow him, as he does not have the support of all the lords of Wessex. The Queen wants to execute Uhtred, but Aethelflaed was able to convince her not to do so. The Queen decides to banish Uhtred from Wessex, and wants him never to return. And as Uhtred was being escorted out, he among the people of Winchester shows them the letter the king wrote, pardoning him. And Father Beoka lets the Queen know that the king's pardon cannot be rescinded by a queen, and it can only be done by a king. And Uhtred wants Edward to make the decision, as he considered him to be the next king. Despite Ethelwold objecting to Edward being the king, Uhtred agrees to abide by his decision. And Edward holds the king's pardon. And Uhtred, now being a free man, decide to follow Edward in the battle to come. Edward is not sure if other lords of Wessex will follow him. And Uhtred asks him to write letters to all the lords of Wessex, as written by his father before his battle with the Danes. And the men will join him for battle. And as the letters were sent, Ethelwold goes to join the Danes, hoping that few of the lords will betray Edward. And Uhtred, with Edward, heads forward to meet the Danes for battle. Meanwhile Breda confirms with Canute that it was indeed Ethelwold who killed Ragnar, and sends this message to Uhtred. Wessex, having lesser men, decides to fight them in the woods, instead of an open field, and they attack their lines. And finally, Lord Sigebrith also decided to fight for Wessex. And King Edward has a decisive victory. Uhtred was able to catch up with Ethelwold, and he kills him, with a blade dipped in Ragnar's blood. And as the season ends, Uhtred visits Ragnar's grave, and says his final goodbye, not knowing where destiny will lead him next. Thanks for watching. And if you liked it, please subscribe.